Ladies and gentlemen and ladies, I want to thank you very much for coming out tonight. First and foremost, tonight I owe everybody an apology for last night. Unfortunately, I did schedule a live and I couldn't keep the commitment last night, and I moved it to tonight, which I felt better about doing so, and gave me another opportunity to review some of the information and make sure all my ducks were in a row on this. I'm not going to do my normal of or what I like to do of a top 5 stories tonight. We're going to jump right into this. We're going to start off with taking a look at the very first press conference that the was held for Kiely Rodni missing. This is by the Placer County Sheriff Office. And hello, Phoenix. Hello, I know Cosplay said she's going to try to make it. Carrie and Double Rainbows, thank you very much for making it out. I appreciate that. Bear with me just a moment. As I said tonight, we're jumping right into it. We're not. This is not. This is not a one that we're going to sit here and have a normal top 5. So forgive me if I stutter a little bit. Hello, Honeybee. Actually, Honeybee, I was staying away from it. And I was just following it. I was not. At first, I was not going to touch this, to be honest. But some struck me. So let's go ahead and talk about that first, since Honeybee said something there. Some struck me about this that didn't settle with me right. And guys, do not be alarmed or afraid or surprised if I repeat a lot of what Ryan Upchurch said. It's coincidental that I 100% agree with what he's saying. I'm not as dramatic as he is. I'm not as boisterous about it in some ways as he has been, and this is no negative towards him. But if you've been watching what Ryan Upchurch has been putting out there on this, you're going to notice that I will have at times opinions that are very similar or very much the same as what he was saying. You're right, Honeybee. And what's gotten my attention on this, I've been okay. So if you're a member of my Discord, or if you talk to me on Instant Messenger for what is it, Facebook? Yes, I do have both. I don't really publicly make a big deal out of social media. Anybody is welcome to join my Discord, and it's pretty much one of those deals where as I get to know you and be more comfortable with you, I let other people know more and more of what social media I am on. Because I don't want to be. This is no offense to anybody. I'm not a person that wants to be asked questions 24/7. I don't have a problem if somebody asks questions, but I can't do it 24/7. And what's caught my attention about this is honestly not that she's gone missing. And at this point, if you pay attention what the Placer Sheriff's Departments are saying, where they're scaling back their investigation, their search, and they're going to change their tactics on it. I believe that came out within the past day or two. Thank you, Carrie. Yes, anybody is more than welcome to send me an email if you have questions about anything I've covered, or if you have know of a case that you think needs to be covered and want me to get to look at. Please feel free to email me if you're not in my Discord or don't know me on Facebook. And Lady Blind Wolf, thank you very much. I know you were patiently waiting much before I was ready to go live. Absolutely. Ryan Upchurch is very much, very, very much. He lives, not that I know exactly where he lives, but he lives approximately 4 counties over from me. And he has actually done a lot of work for Summer Wells privately, as well as what he has put on his YouTube channel. And he will tell you he is not a true crime person, 100% true crime. But when he does a story on a missing person, it gets a lot of attention. Oh, no worries. I saw the comment and I appreciate you waiting for me. This was actually scheduled for last night, but I was not feeling well, and I wanted to make sure all my ducks were all in a row. So I took the day. I took a day, took a knee, so to speak, took a day, and came back to the taking the knee. Of course, is a football analogy. Hello, Pepper Spice. How are you? Um, you know, sometimes you have to do that, and you have to sit there, take a knee, take a moment, take care of yourself, even though you think you're ready to do something, and to do it on the next day or an hour later sometimes, and it's everything just falls in place better. But that's what happened to me yesterday. Lady Blind Wolf, thank you very much. I appreciate that. Letting me know. Phoenix, thank you. Thank you very much. I thought that's where I recognized your name from. So we're gonna, like I said, we're gonna start with talking about Kiely Rodni, and I'm gonna go ahead and share this real quick. Not that I think I'm going to need this, because the sheriff's department in this and the family, mainly her mom. I don't know if the dad's in the picture. I've not seen mention of the dad or much of a mention of dad. Has always been wanting everybody to focus on sharing. If they're going to talk about it, share the social media that's coming from the police, and on the family website, which is Find Kiely, find FINDKIELY.com. And we'll be taking a look at that in a moment. So if you don't get the email address now, do not worry. We'll be taking a look at that in a moment. But of all the documents, all the video, and we're going to look at a couple different videos tonight. Please be aware that all of what we're talking about and all the information we share is covered under Section 107 of the Copyright Act 1976. Copyright disclaimer: under Section 107, the Copyright Act 1976, allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticisms, content, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. Nonprofit, educational, or personal use tips the balance in in favor of fair use. Okay, so as I said, we're going to jump right into this, and we're going to take a look at the press conference, the first press conference that came out for Kiely and her missing. This is 3 day. I believe it was 4 days after she actually went missing. It says it was from 8/10, and she was reported missing on 8/6. So bear with me just a moment here as I pull that up.
Good afternoon. My name is Angela Musalam. I'm the Public Information Officer for the Placer County Sheriff's Office. Before we begin, we'd like to remind everybody that we're limiting each reporter question down to 2 questions, please, for the interest of time. We really need to get our first responders back out to the search to fulfill their mission to help find Kiely. I'm joined today by multiple law enforcement agencies who we are assisting and who are assisting us. That includes the Nevada County Sheriff's Office, the FBI, the California Highway Patrol, and the Truckee Police Department. Our Placer County Sheriff's Lieutenant Josh Barnhart will be discussing the operational side of the investigation as it stands today.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'd like to start with Kiely and her family and just say that we are continuing every effort and every lead possible to this point. We've been in communication with the family constantly, in-person meetings with them to ensure that they're receiving every bit of information possible. We've also been keeping up with trying to push out as much information as possible to the community, and we really thank the community for stepping up and helping law enforcement in this time. We've come together as a community here with our partners in Nevada County, the California Highway Patrol, the FBI, Truckee Police. The FBI at this point has dedicated almost 50 personnel to this search for Kiely. They are out actively searching, knocking on doors, going to businesses, recovering video. At this point, we've collected just a ton of information and video from gas stations, private businesses, private residences, ring cameras, etc. And so we're trying to decipher that information to make sure that we're picking up on the tips. Again, we'll refer the public to the tip line. Please, 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 if you have any further information for us, call that tip line and we'll follow it up. I'll open it up to any questions.
It's been now 5 days since she's been missing. What's the newest update that you can give us, and do you have any new leads at this time?
So we do not have any new leads, and that I can tell you is very frustrating for us. And so we reiterate that anyone that was at the party that night, please come to law enforcement. Please go to the tip line. It is anonymous if they want to remain anonymous. We can't urge enough that people that were there know something. If you know something, please say something, come forward about Kiely's disappearance.
Have a lot of kids turned in video from that night because they record everything these days?
Yes, there was a lot of video at the party. We've done a really good job of trying to collect that, as much of that as possible. That obviously takes time to review, hours and hours of time to review, but we're trying to narrow down the scope, and that if Kiely was seen in any of those videos, we are following up on it, yes.
We're going to continue on to the search and rescue portion of this investigation, which is one of the most important portions of the investigation. I'm going to introduce now Nevada County Sheriff's Office Captain Sam Brown.
Yeah, thank you everybody for coming out. I think to start off, I just want to emphasize that we're still in unified command with the Placer County Sheriff's Office, and we're trying to gather as much information as possible, and we're really thankful for our partners. Everybody's mentioned them before, and there's tons more agencies that aren't here present that are participating, especially in the search for Kiely. To date, we have about 3,000 man hours of searching that's gone on, and we're going to continue those search efforts going forward. We've had anything from air support, ground pounders, canines, UTVs, side-by-sides, boats, air support from the state, local, and even at times federal resources. And so there's been nothing held back resource-wise in an attempt to try to locate Kiely or any clues thereof. One thing innovative that the team came up with while we've been dealing with this is a way for the community, who has been extremely supportive and extremely interested in wanting to be participants in what's going on, and who are going out actively into the field and searching, our team was able to create a map that will allow folks in the community who are going out to track their tracks so that we can monitor and see those types of things and see if that adds some information. I'm not sure that this has ever been attempted before. We do have some concerns that it could shut down our system if too many people are logging on. So hopefully the folks that are logging on and uploading tracks are doing so justifiably and with good intention. Because if it doesn't work out, we would ultimately have to shut it down if it stops the progress or creates some problems. But those folks who have gone into the field or are going into the field on their own volition as citizens in the community, or folks who have come here to help out, there is a process that they can log on, gain access to the CalTopo app, and be able to submit tracks to our team who has some overhead and is able to review it and put that into our mapping process, but also allow us to keep going on with our professional searchers and the folks who are moving forward in business. Hopefully by tomorrow, we'll also have a system set up where folks who have gone out into the field already and maybe are using GPS and things of that nature to track their progress, will be able to upload that information and again, help us to supply with, are we in the right direction? Are we searching the right areas? Have we covered somewhere? Do we need to cover somewhere a little bit more thorough and what that looks like? And so it's more pieces to the puzzle. We're struggling with clues. And so searches aren't super successful if you don't have a direction of where to search. At this point, we have a point last seen, and we're expanding beyond that point last seen in a systematic way that hopefully is capturing right-of-ways and things that would make sense for somebody who is leaving the area. And we're doing the best that we can in an attempt to locate Kiely. Folks who have tips, again, I'll emphasize what was said by my partners. We need people to call into the tip line, provide information, and do a good job. We're extremely lucky here. We're in Nevada County right now. I know we're partnered with Placer County. I could probably say the same for their community as well, just because I've seen the folks that are coming here and it's a mixture. We're extremely lucky to have real positive, good community members that are coming together for the right reasons. And I think that's really important. We had some conversation earlier with local radio about what's going on in community and that there's some, what we maybe refer to as bad players on the internet, providing bad information or antagonizing like certain things. And really, I would just hope that people don't continue to do that and that we're looking for how do we have the best progress and make some gains on this extremely difficult situation. And I know speaking for myself and for a lot of the folks on our team, it's tiring for law enforcement as well. And we want to be able to supply all the right answers, especially to the family. And it's hard to look somebody in the face and tell them you don't have those answers. So once again, I'd encourage the public, if people know something, say something, bring us forward some information. And until we get that, we're going to continue to go through clues and digital data and all those things to help move our search in the right way. And I believe we'll probably do some more Q&A at the end, but thank you.
Thank you. Ever since last evening, we've had a few developments that I'd like to point you in that direction. We'll be having a crew come out and bring out an easel containing several pictures that I will then discuss in detail. So if you look to my left, we have 3 photos. I'm going to start with the photo on the very right. That is the last photo of Kiely Rodni. She was seen just hours before she went to that party at the Prosser family campground, hours before her.
Don't worry, folks. I'm still here. I pause it for just a moment. I want everybody to remember these photos because these photos are going to be very important in just a few moments as we go through this tonight and talk about this. Hello, Tiny Dancer. No, I actually just started, and we're going through the press conference, the first press conference that the police had on her missing.
Her disappearance. This photo signifies exactly what she was wearing hours before her disappearance. You can see she's wearing not a black tank top, but a black bodysuit. She's also wearing a black studded belt green Dickies pants, and black Vans shoes. This is what she was last seen wearing just hours before her disappearance. I'll point you to the first photo on the left. This is a photo that, this is a hoodie that was loaned to Kiely on the day that she disappeared. This item is of significance. We believe that Kiely was still in possession of this hoodie when she disappeared. And the photo in the middle is an actual photo of Kiely's vehicle. It's a 2013 silver Honda CR-V. We continue to investigate every single lead that comes to us. We continue to exhaust every lead. We urge the public to please, if anybody knows these 200 to 300 juveniles and young adults who are at the Prosser Family Campground between Friday evening and early Saturday morning, to please come forward. We have since set up an online tip line. That email is sheriff_investtips@placer.ca.gov. So if somebody is not comfortable calling anonymously, they can feel free to email us via our tip line. That is all the updates we have for today. We will make sure to continue to keep the community updated with the latest information possible on our social media accounts on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Thank you.
Shindy House 101.5. Where was this photo taking at? Where was that surveillance? Which
This-
location?
We are not releasing the location right now for investigative purposes, but it was a local business in Truckee at 6:08 p.m.
And the vehicle, what is the age of that photo?
That is a photo from the winter of her vehicle, and that is the most accurate description of her vehicle.
Thank you.
You've received hundreds of tips from the public. Within those hundreds of tips, no one has said that they've seen her leave the party.
To our knowledge currently, no.
Do we know the last person to have seen her? I heard that somebody saw her around 12:40. Do we know who she was with, what her state of mind was?
Our-
The very last appearance of her.
Yeah, so our detectives are continuing to follow up on those leads. We don't have any solid answers right now. We are continuing to investigate that. Thank you.
A dog team was sent out this morning. Why today? And will you continue to send that team out in the future?
Sure, sure.
Yeah, dog teams were sent out, but I believe they were also sent out on previous days as well. We're just exhausting any types of options, and there's various types of dogs, tracking dogs, evidence dogs, and unfortunately, in the needs of these things, we send out cadaver dogs as well to just cover all bases, because we're not putting anything off of the table. I didn't mention it earlier, but we have swimmers in the water literally looking for evidence and things like that on locations that we think might have something. And we're trying everything that we can. So there are human beings in the water swimming and coming back trying to provide intel based off of what they can see in the water as well. And so far, still no clues that are ending up from those.
And so those divers and swimmers will continue in the next few days, to your knowledge.
Yeah, as long as we have a reason to believe that we're using that resource for the right way and with some purpose.
You said the searches have been unsuccessful. What's your new tactic moving forward?
I wouldn't say that they're unsuccessful. Anytime you're searching an area and you don't find something, you also are clearing an area that may not have something. So it's still purposeful.
Was sonar used in the lake at all in the search?
Yes.
It's mentioned that there's video of, in businesses, captured images of her. What exactly was captured? Was it her vehicle passing by? What did those cameras capture?
So the only known lead that we have currently is that photo right there up on the easel. This photo shows Kiely at a local business in Truckee hours before she disappeared. And that is the only solid piece of evidence that we have been able to find. Actually, it was a detective with the Truckee Police Department who was able to obtain that video.
Her house is pretty remote. How extensively has the road out to her house been searched and the area off?
I'm going to have Captain Brown discuss that.
Yeah, the question was about how extensively has the road been searched, because it is pretty treacherous, if you would. It's been flown with hours and hours of helicopter. It's been driven with dirt bikes, patrol vehicles, you name it. We probably put it on the road. And today they're extensively, I believe, still working on a ground search through the same area.
Do you have reason to believe that she's no longer in the
Ma'am?
state?
I think we kept you at 3 questions. We're going to move on.
Sorry, my last one. Does this mean to think that at this moment you don't believe she ever went home, or she never went down that route? You believe she went somewhere else, or she never made it home?
We don't know. We're trying to find out exactly what happened. And at this point, we believe that someone knows, someone saw her, but they're not coming forward. So again, we urge people to come forward. Again, we'll reiterate that we're not concerned about what was happening out at the party. Our only concern is to get Kiely back.
Now, you guys mentioned that the hoodie, that scene right there was the hoodie that was loaned to her. By any chance, did that person that loaned her the hoodie see her before she went missing, or is there any other?
There's nothing in our investigation that has pointed to that. Mhm.
Her best friend said before that she was the last person to speak with her. Has that been confirmed?
We continue to investigate and interview the people who last saw her to try and get more information. But so far, nothing has been able to lead us to Kiely.
The hoodie, is that believed to be what she's wearing? Is that what?
We can't confirm that. We just know that the hoodie was in her possession the day that she went missing. She was loaned that hoodie, yes.
Is there any way to track her phone?
Her phone has actually been turned off shortly after 12:30 a.m. Saturday morning, and it has been off this whole time. Any more questions? Thank you so much. Okay. Good afternoon. I'm Angela.
All right. So, as I said, remember that. Oh, I'm not done. Tiny Dancer. Don't worry. Don't worry. I hit a wrong button when I was moving my mouse, and I hit refresh and it knocked me out of my stream for just a few seconds. I am back. So I did mark a couple questions and that I have starred over here. So we're going to get a couple of questions that I saw in the chat room. Despite, okay, so the honeybee says, make a GPS device safe enough to be hidden under skin to track. Yeah, we don't want to go there. That's not safe. That's not smart. That's very, it's going to stir a lot of biblical issues for a lot of people. And I don't want to go there. However, where I do want to say is the 2013 Honda CR-V. 2013 Honda CR-V. Bear with me a second here. I appreciate your patience with me. Pictured here, it's Kiely's vehicle. It had a Dodge Ram sticker by the rear wiper. This vehicle did have an option for a navigation system in GPS. It did not come standard yet. We don't know. In fact, it looks like the vehicle that she had did not have the optional navigation system. I said to you a moment ago also, when I paused in the middle of that video and said, hang on to this story. Hang on to remember these videos, these pictures. It's this one. It's the vehicle, which is right up here. And it's this picture of this hoodie. As you just heard of that press conference, this is a business in Truckee, her hometown. Be careful what you listen to. This story is already starting to try to go off the rails and be about somebody trying to make out their own and be about their own 15 minutes of fame. There is a guy who is actually, I for the way he's covering it, I have a lot of respect for him. He's trying his best to keep it down the middle. Forgive me if anybody catches this from his channel or this gets back to him and I mispronounce his name or his YouTube creator name. It's Iked Mel, something to that effect. He's been doing a lot of work on this. I mean, a lot of good work. Hello, boss man. How are you doing tonight? True crime and other stuff. Glad to see you here. Marley 13, glad to see you're here as well. So if the Annette Graf, I did not miss you. I did see you. I just did not say hello to you as of yet. It is being used. This photo is being used by through hearsay. To say that this is actually a business that is near the campground and that she was near the campground early in the day, approximately 6 o'clock in the afternoon, causing a big question if you follow that narrative or what somebody's trying to make a narrative of approximately 3-hour window of what happened that just does not fit at all into what happened. This hoodie that I pointed out, the black one with the pansies and the writing on the front. Somebody also wanted to say that they lent her that sweater because she was only wearing the leotard or the bodysuit type of top that evening and was complaining about being cold. Later to come to find out, as of the past 2, maybe 3 days now, she was wearing this sweatshirt. There's been evidence to say that she was actually wearing this sweatshirt, which is a local band or a reference to a local band in Truckee that had actually split, but she was a fan of their music, still listened to their music, and had a sweatshirt, so she still wore it. Now, let's talk about Kiely. Now that I've addressed some of the you got to be carefuls, let's talk about start to get focused on what we really what is at the center of this. Kiely, and again, if I'm butchering the name, please everybody forgive me. I am not good with pronunciation and names. I try my best. Kiely is a 16-year-old who is about to start attending college. Wanted to have one last weekend, from what I found to be credible information, that she was going to go hang out with her friends before having to start college classes. Now, forgive me, guys. I did play around with the size a little bit there. I'm showing some of the photos and some information about Kiely. So we're not talking about the average 16-year-old girl who's boy crazy, who, I'm not going to say she wasn't dating somebody or had a boyfriend, but she wasn't boy crazy. She had set herself a goal to be in college. And at 16 years old, she was achieving that goal. I don't believe she was actually attending college like as in a full time. I believe she was taking classes for college level classes while she was finishing high school. I believe she was bumped up one class, boss man, one grade level, but I don't think she was bumped up two. Although it's possible that she could have been. She could have been tested so well that she was tested 2 grade levels ahead. Hello, Muffin Top. Thank you for joining. But it is at least 1 grade level she skipped and was starting to take college level classes. So we're not talking about some excuse, ladies. Please forgive me, my stereotype that I am mentioning. I do not mean this as to be any towards anybody. She's not the stereotypical blonde hair, blue eyed girl, even though the ad here says hazel eyes. That she is the stereotypical. She's actually driven. She's good in her academics, and she's achieving goals that she set for herself. Now you can look at this and say she has piercings, she has tattoos, she was allowed to party, she was allowed to go to this campground where it's a known party. Typically, this party is not as big as it was when she went. This particular party, the end of the summer bash, had been advertised for approximately 2.5, almost 3 months. That they were going to be having the party at the campground, Prosser Campground, and it was being advertised to high school kids, to college kids, from anywhere. I've heard as far as way as Hollywood, as far as way as Sacramento, as far as way as Las Vegas, for people to attend. So you have an environment where you're mixing adults, college age adults, high school kids in this campground. Now, I'm not blaming at all her parents, her mom, because from everything I've heard, this young lady had her head on her shoulders screwed on so well that her mom was like, yes, you're about to go into an insane time of your life where you're going to the college. You can have one last weekend where you're going to be free and you get to hang out with your high school friends. It's not that she just ran off and went. Her parents knew where she was. May not be the precise location, but they knew her plans. There are reports, and I'm not going to go into the whole entire story tonight. I'm just touching on some things that I think are important to call out tonight on this story, because they have been what have been disturbing me, and what have gotten me into this, involved in this. And I'm going to get to Honeybee's question in a moment, and I'll get to questions in just a moment as well from others. Do not think it was irresponsible for these parents in this situation to allow her to go to a party. If she was at some average student, and this is again, no offense to anybody, if she was an average student or a student that was struggling, it may have been a different story. May have been a different story. Thank you, Honeybee. I agree with that 100%. The problem with this party that I find to be most striking and it's going to be I'm going to come up with a question on this one for the chat. Name me the movie about Fight Club and the number one rule about Fight Club. What movie was about Fight Club? And what was the number one rule of Fight Club? Mm-hmm. We don't talk about Fight Club. Well, if anybody's got a sledgehammer, let's go ahead and smash that tonight. Because this campground was a cover ground. Out in the woods, they had Fight Club. The parties, sometimes, the reported drug use, gambling, betting, was all about Fight Club. Tiny Dancer's never heard of that movie. Can anybody think of the name of that movie? I honestly cannot think of it off the top of my head. It's a film from 1999. I think it is. And it's actually called Fight Club. Brad Pitt was in it. Jared Leto, Edward Norton. Just give you a few names that were people that I recognize in this. My point of bringing it up, though, it was actually a pretty good movie. Yeah, Fight Club was the name. Thank you, Carrie. I'm saying the name. Guys, I have moments like that all the time. I was looking for a pen one day, and I happened to grab my cell phone and had my pen in my hand with the cell phone, and I'm looking all over the place for my pen because I can't find it because it's in my same hand with my cell phone. So if I come up with moments like that, you're welcome to laugh, because honestly, when it gets when I realize that, well, like, just to have that dolt moment, I laugh about it as well. So I'm not offended if you guys laugh. Tiny answer, it's okay. I'm not that young. I'm not a spring chicken anymore. I don't, at least I don't think I am. Some others might disagree, but Honeybee, you asked a few moments ago, and I don't want to ignore this, so forgive me. I'm going to jump to this real quick. Are there any are there no suspects? Well, yes and no. Right now, the police want and are calling, and they're gathering any and all digital information that people are willing to give. Okay. There is, let me see if I can find it. There is a photo. It's a photo in the dark. Again, guys, please remember that all of my content, I did put up the fair use clause at the beginning. So any and all my information is covered by fair use, section 107, Fair Use Act of 1976. So if I share anything or any information from it, it is for news reporting purposes and all of the other items that are covered under that. I'm just not reading that off the top of my head. I'll go over that in just a moment again. I found the photo I'm looking at, or I want. And there's a reason why I'm saying the Fair Use Act on this. The page is still loading, so bear with me just a moment here. No, that's not the one I want. Forgive me, guys. Bear with me a moment. Found the photo I'm looking for, guys. So hang on just another moment here. This photo right here. And I'm going to also drop a link, or if Kara, if you want to drop it, Ryan Upchurch had done a video on this earlier today, or involving this exact photo, where he believes that some of the information of who's who is coming out in that video is misinformation, and that the information is that he does not believe. And guys, pay attention. This is one of those things I agree with Ryan Upchurch on. Ryan Upchurch does not believe that Kiely was at the party. Or if she was at the party, she was there for a very, very short time. Not the time frame that people are saying. This person right here, this person right here, and you have this person right here. First person I showed you, this is going to answer a question that Honeybee had a while ago. Are there any suspects? The police have not come out and said that there are any suspects. But Carrie, if you do find that link, please drop it in the chat room. I would want everybody to, I encourage everybody after this, I'll pin it if you do. I would encourage everybody to watch that video after. It's believed that if this person is the correct person, if this is Kiely in the photo, like I said, if this is Kiely in the photo, this is the video I was talking about for Ryan Upchurch. It's pinned at the top of the chat. Please, if you want, go ahead and watch it later. Like I said, I'm not copying what Ryan Upchurch said, but I agree with what Ryan Upchurch is saying. There seems to be confusion of who's who in this photo. This person right here, when you blow it up and run it through a, which I don't have the ability to do, but I believe that Ryan Upchurch did. This is why I'm encouraging people to go to his video. He has software to enhance, or persons that he can do to go through to enhance, or found a different copy. That's Sammy. It resembles Sammy. We're not sure. Nobody's sure of who this is, but they believe it is possibly Kiely. And also this person here, coincidentally has a white sweat hoodie with a pinkish writing that you cannot make out. But if this is Kiely, where's the pansies on the back of the hoodie? If she was wearing that black hoodie, where's the pansies? Why is everybody, look at the way she's facing, she's looking in this direction. My mouse isn't going right. This person's looking in this direction. This person's looking in this same direction. You have all that going on except for this group right here. They're looking at these guys and what happened with these guys over here. There's reports of different things that I don't. It's a party. I'm not going to get into the details of that tonight. There's reports of drug use and things like that going on. I'm just not. I'm not interested in getting into that tonight. It's a high schoolers party. And like I said, unfortunately, there was college kids as well at this party. So there was going to be drugs there. That was a given. Gary, is this the actual video right here? Annette, you're exactly right. Listen to what Ryan Upchurch is saying about this. Do not listen to their smoke and mirrors. See through their smoke and mirrors. Because I'm telling you, something is going on with this story. I'm going to stay to the facts. I'm going to stay to what the parents, the mom is saying, and I'm going to stick to what the police are saying. The vehicle did not have GPS installed. How easy was it, or would it be, that if somebody had a beef with her, and this is not what I'm saying, thinking happened. Okay, so now the correct pinned item is up at the top. That's the actual video. I'm not saying this did happen, but we already know that Fight Club happens on these grounds. Supposedly, it's not common for girls to fight at this location, but wouldn't it be hard to mask a fight? Or if you listen to what her ex-boyfriend, one and the same Jagger, had been saying, and a person named Sammy that is involved in this story, Sammy Smith, right there on the screen, had possibly running a bit of an interference game of their own, and saying that she liked to Kiely liked to go out to a certain point out in the desert or out in the that she would like to go and just be alone, and that they could only take her there by going by foot. They're going to take the police there by going by foot. They couldn't tell you where it was on the map, but they knew how to get there. Double rainbows. That's very true. I will. That's actually very true, but it's unfortunately not what happened. I don't believe she made it to the party, or if she was there, she was not there for a very, very long time. How many times in a day do you put your phone down, cell phone down, and turn around and walk away to the bathroom, and walk away to go get a glass of water from the kitchen, and you don't you don't think twice about taking your phone with you? Unless you're one of those people that put it in your pocket and say, oh, I'm just going to butt dial people and just go, oops, I'm sorry, later. I don't believe she was at the party, folks. Or if she was there for a very short amount of time. The text messages could have been done by anybody. If you're really close with your best friend, you know their speech patterns. You know how they text message. Sometimes you even know how to get into their phone. How easy would it have been if she had laid her phone down for her supposed best friend to have picked it up and start fabricating and weaving this story of how they left at like 10:30 and she was drunk at that time. Used her phone for a text message. Then throw the phone into the woods where it wouldn't be found. But it's still at the campground. Turning it off before you do. Or just plain and simply turning it off and taking it with you and never turning it on again. Now, I understand. I'm giving you a couple like crazy ideas of what it could be. I hate to say it, but I think she was murdered. The police in that very first press conference said that the phone was turned off. Not the phone was smashed, destroyed, or they couldn't ping it because it wasn't in it shorted out. The phone's off. As in, pop the case open, remove the battery off. A phone, even though it's turned off, will still allow a ping to happen. Police have a way to do that. Whether you want to believe that or not, if the police are looking for you, like seriously looking for you, thank you, Carrie. This content is discussion and all opinion, and is alleged. It would not have taken much of an effort to shut the phone off. Yes, Tiny Dancer, turn the location off. Turn the whatever version of phone that somebody has calls it. The GPS, the location-based services, the 50 other things that you can call it. Turn it off. And then you have exactly what happened with the cell phone. Phoenix, you are exactly correct. However, it's only going to holds a certain amount of residual energy. If you were to turn a device, if you have a device that has an internal battery off, or let it die, and you sit there and you hold that power button, as if you're going to try to, it's supposed to like start right back up, like without plugging it in. Electronic devices hold a percentage, and it's a very, very small, minute percentage of residual energy that if you watch carefully, for a split second, your screen will flash on. as if it's trying to start. That's the residual energy. But beyond that, it's dead. And that's exactly that. That's something that cell phone companies, electronics has always done that. And the capacitors, and not going to go on all the STEM techie talk stuff, but in the capacitors and everything else that are on a board that make up a circuit board for the phone and whatnot. Computers do the same thing. Residual energy remains in those capacitors, and that's what allows that to happen. But you only have approximately 3 to 5 attempts, and then you don't get any more responses. If the battery is completely dead or removed. Gary, yes, thank you. This is what I was saying earlier. Remember the outfit that she was wearing, and then it came out within the past 2 to 3 days about that white hoodie. It was a hearsay from this Ronnie person that Ikmel has been talking to, who is a 40-something-year-old adult, going by Kiely's age, attending a party with high school sophomore-aged kids. High school sophomore-aged kids. 40-something-year-old adult, or close to 40. I believe there's actually a couple witnesses, Carrie, that actually have said that about the green Dickies. It's Sammy that's saying she was wearing blue jeans. And the cousins that are supposedly at this party of the late 30s, 40-year-old adult that said she was wearing blue jeans. Hello, Cosplay. How are you doing tonight? So tonight I wanted to set the table, so to speak. And no, I'm not using that as any sort of funny or anything like that about it's just showing you where I think and what I think so far. This is just the day one conference. I will be revisiting this at a later date and time. Not too far later date and time. As I was explaining to my Discord, there's one more thing I'm going to show you on this in just a moment. The party itself has two supposed cousins that were there that never met. That never met her in person, but has a lot to speak. And this is all going through the 30 to 40-year-old adult. They supposedly say that when they go to this party, no matter what rules the society goes by, it doesn't matter. And everything is acceptable. And yes, they have alluded to, again, we're going to use Carrie's warning. This content and discussion is all opinionated and alleged. According to these cousins, there has been known for high schoolers to hook up with grown adults. So this is a huge mess. A huge mess. And that you have it exactly right. The perspective of this party is disturbing. There you go, Carrie. A free-for-all party. When I very first started following this, my first impression was this was very similar to a fishbowl party. And I'm not assuming anybody knows that term, so please, if I need to explain a fishbowl party, please let me know. I don't want to assume anybody that doesn't know that term and not explain it this early on, because I have a funny feeling this is going to come into play. So I'm going to give you guys a few moments. If anybody does not feel that they know what a fishbowl party is, please do not be offended and speak up, because this is going to be, I think, an important detail as this comes out. We need to make sure everybody understands what that is. No judgment will be had if you don't know what it is. You're not sure how I'm using it. Is the same way you understand it. Please let me know. Fishbowl party, just to give you a very short definition. Okay, Tiny Dancer, thank you. I appreciate that, because this is actually going to be something on this. With this many people, there is no other way of being able to describe it but a fishbowl. Meaning that you have a set place, and almost it could be literally a fishbowl, where everybody throws in what they bring, or has a table where they put down what alcohol they bring. Fishbowl is referring to illegal drugs. And they all put it in this area. You pay your fee at the gate. Nobody asks anybody's age. Nobody asks what it is. That's all around. And you take what you want. You use what you want. I'm explaining it, Tiny Dancer. You're fine. There's not an exact way of explaining it. It could be a powdery illegal drug. It could be a pill form of an illegal drug. Anything that would make you high, make you alter your mental state in whatever form, whether it be making you high, making you being a downer, making you psychedelics, put it that way. Alcohol would be available. And we're not just talking about a beer here. We're talking like a strong alcohol, your green alcohol type stuff. That's what a fishbowl party is. Honeybee, exactly. It's anything and everything. Anything and everything is at that party and available for anybody to use. Yep. Honeybee, that's exactly what it is. It's what you call a free for all party. Yep. That's the kind of thing that was going on at this party, folks. Debauchery. Things that should not have happened. This is the campground, and I'm not going to say the campground was at fault. They may not have been aware of how the party happened or why the party happened. Because let's be honest, of all the people that are in the chat, and I don't really normally do this, but please, if you have a kid, put a 1. If you have a kid, put a 1. Only Honeybee? Cosplay, I know you got kids. Let's go ahead and say anybody with a kid, a child, you birthed a child, okay? From the age range that would be at this party. And yes, cosplay, I'm using you. I know you have kids that are not exactly of this age range, but well, yes, you do actually, I think. But anyway, so I have three people that are in this kids with this range. 4 people. How many of those kids use things like Snapchat or what was the other, TikTok? Now, I'm not on those social medias, but I have researched them a little bit, so I know my answer to this, or what my question is, where I'm going with this is. Okay, honeybee, that's cool. But still, have you heard of, you're in that, possibly in that age range of between 16 and mid 30, early 40s. I haven't forgotten Instagram, but that's a little bit different. But who hasn't heard of TikTok and what was the other one I just mentioned a moment ago? It's a yellow square with it looks like a ghost in the middle of it. where your messages, your videos, what you post. Snapchat, that's it. Thank you. Where what you upload, in some cases, if you only set it to be a certain setting on there, will only last for a few moments and then are gone. As if they never happened again. That's Snapchat. You can put a notification or set a video or something or whatever it is, and with the right settings, it will be like almost like everybody within a certain radius can see it, and then it's gone. That's how this party got advertised. Snapchat and TikTok, where you can very quickly make the video or this announcement of this party, so to speak, disappear quickly. And then from there, unless you're setting out a reminder for it, it's purely by word of mouth at that point until the announcement of, here's the address that we're going to be having this party at. It's a recipe for disaster. Right, honeybee. They social media actually has to have a server farm, and they have to save, even though it's not being publicly blasted. I think it's maybe the term they use, where the the radius or whatever, whoever or however it's set up to be in. I've never looked that far into it. I just know this is how it's done. That through Snapchat, that's how this actually got out. And because the posting only lasts a certain amount of time, and it's only visible in a certain radius of the sender, that it's very limited who can see it. And after that, it's purely by word of mouth. So when this party gets announced, and they finally put the details of the of where it's going to be, the address and everything, or its location being the campground, Prosser Family Campground. You guys know I can't resist to bring up a map. Let's just take a look at where this campground is. And guys, I'm not going to be just a few more. I'm going to be another 15 minutes at the most. I'm not going to be long tonight. So I'm just going to give you a little bit of an aerial view of where this campground is. We're going to zoom in on it in just a moment, just so make sure everybody understands, everybody's aware that we're going to do a little bit of playing around with zoom here, zooming in and out a little bit here. But this is the California-Nevada border, I-80. Out near Reno. Since we're mentioning Reno, let's not forget about Dylan Round still missing, because it didn't happen very far away. North of I-80. Here's Truckee. Here's the campground. Say 20 minutes probably by local roads. On the outskirts of the town. In the woods, of course, it's a campsite. That's not an issue. It's out in the woods. Alder Creek, Prosser Creek Reservoir, just to its east. Not saying this is the exact location where the party happened. It looks like it's probably more like over here, where you're hidden away from the main path and off the main path a bit, but not far from a parking lot area. Hey, there we go. Possibly in this area-ish. But that's where this campground is. Truckee again, just so you guys have an idea. Remember, I was saying that this is as far advertised as far away as Las Vegas, all the way out here. Advertised in Sacramento. San Francisco would have been on the radar, because I said it was as far as way as people were saying that it was advertised as far away as Hollywood. Long Beach. Bay Area. San Jose. Lots and lots of kids knew about this party. Of the 200 to 300 that were believed to be at this campground, 3 people. 3 people have been doing a lot of talking. And not all of what they're saying is making sense. I think the 30 to 40-year-old is just trying to get his 15 minutes of fame. I want popularity. I want attention. I'm going to run with with what my cousins had said, who were teenagers and at this party. And elaborate on the way. You have Mags, who took or went with, and Mags is not a person I focus on because I honestly believe of all persons that knew Kiely, my gut instinct, she's innocent. Has nothing to do with this, what happened at all. It's this Sammy person, her on again, off again boyfriend, Jagger. And I believe there's actually a third female that I'm not remember the name of off the top of my head. But there's a third person that's involved. You've heard very clearly that it's been reported this is not a love triangle. This is not a issue with the being a squabble over lovers or however they want to word it. Doesn't mean it's an issue of jealousy. I think there's a major jealousy issue that's creeping up. Kate, thank you very much, Kate, Carrie. When I can't come up with something, I know within a few moments, Carrie will have it for me. I think these are yes, Kate. She was, thank you. Kate, who had spent the day or part of the day with her making creme brulee. Does anybody know what creme brulee is? Or how it's made? If you're in my Discord or if you talk to me on Facebook Instant Messenger, we went over this last night. It's another thing that just doesn't make sense for teenagers to be making creme brulee. Right, Phoenix, there is. I'll agree with you. There is. But the most basic way of making creme brulee is you're making an egg custard. Okay. And then you have to have a ceramic ramekin. And you bake it in the oven, but you have to water bath it, and so it'll set right and everything. And then afterwards, you use after it sets and cools, you sprinkle sugar over the top of it, and then use a butane torch or some way to caramelize that sugar. That's a creme brulee in the most basic of forms. If you go to I explained to everybody that I occasionally I spoil myself and I like to go to somewhere fancy and have a nice dinner. Or it was a family tradition that we would go to Longwood Gardens, if you know where that is, and have Easter, their brunch or whatever it was. When I was growing up, a little kid, I mean, I couldn't have been more than like pre-teen age. Where we would go and have these really nice family dinners. And the adults would get creme brulee for for their dessert. Or if you're lucky enough to live in North Carolina or near North Carolina, you can go to the Biltmore. And it's expensive, and I mean like really expensive. Almost a grocery week's worth of food expensive. But one of the restaurants, you can have a 5-course diner, 5-course dinner. And quite often at this 5-course dinner, creme brulee is the dessert that's served, or one of the options for creme is served. So and if you go to a casino that has one of the high end, we're talking you got to pay $69.95 to have dinner at the buffet per person. It's something that they would have, but no average restaurant, no average person is going to make creme brulee. Thank you, Phoenix. Trust me, creme brulee. If you want to impress, if you were having a small party and you want to impress your the people that you're there that you're hosting a party for, make creme brulee. Custard is not that difficult to make. It's time consuming. It is tricky. I'm not going to say it's the easiest thing in the world to make, but we're also not a food channel. So let's just get off that. The creme brulee for 16-year-olds to decide that that's what they want to make on a Saturday. Or even if it was a Friday. That's not common. It was a Saturday. It was August 6th, August 5th, something like that. That's not common. Right, double rainbows. You're exactly right. There is a certain science. It's not so much a science to it as you have to have the right touch, because it's one of those custards and the caramelization that you do. It's so quick to either break the custard or to burn the caramelization, because that caramelization is wafer thin on top. Going back to what I was saying is, I think there's a jealousy issue, and this is just my gut instinct, folks. It's just me speaking out of my gut instincts and letting you know where my mind is going in on this. As we're going to be diving deeper into this in the next few days, and as this story goes on. I think there's a jealousy issue. That reared its ugly head at this campground. Somebody did not like that their friend was smarter than they are, getting ahead of where they are, starting college classes, not going to be spending time and focusing on them. Jealousy, the green, ugly monster, showed up. And I think one or multiple of her 3 friends, her on-again boyfriend, on-again, off-again boyfriend, Sammy, and this other woman, Kate, which we know not much about, may have been yes, Tiny Dancer. I didn't go into that, but you're exactly right. You're exactly right. And when you look into the details of this, and we'll quickly get into that, and I'll probably do another live in a couple days, but we'll quickly on Saturday night, we'll quickly get into that. There was a jealousy issue that reared its ugly head. Somebody didn't like that their friend is getting ahead. Not having as much time, not going to have as much time. I knew that this was one last blast of that they were actually going to be able to sit down and have a time, because my goodness, when you get involved in college classes and you're handling high school, any kind of extracurricular activity and friends are the first 2 things that are backburnered, because this girl was driven to succeed in school. Yes, Annette, exactly. She had good parents. And stored good, strong, common sense morals in her. Again, guys, I want to wrap it up tonight with, again, I want to thank everybody for their patience with me yesterday. Unfortunately, like I said, I had an issue and I couldn't do the live last night. I'm glad I waited a night because I had more information and I had time to do a little bit more research into different things that were being said and some of the facts. I'm saying, and I'm going to sit here right now and say, and if I change my mind, we'll return to this video and say, yep, that's what I said, and I have to eat my words that I changed my mind. I changed what I said, but this is what I'm going to say tonight. This is all about jealousy. It's not about the party. The party location is coincidence. This is all about jealousy. Cosplay, thank you very much. I did not mention that yet tonight. If you like something that I have said tonight, or you agree with anything I have said tonight, please hit that like button, subscribe button, so you know when I go live next, and hit that notification bell. Make sure it's on all. I don't use the subscribe button to try to get to 1,000 likes. It's simply that you like what I'm saying. You like the platform that I'm presenting. That's all it means to me. It's not like somebody else trying to monetize, and no offense to if somebody has a monetized channel. That's not what I can do. That's not what I'm interested in doing. I come on here for a different reason. Maybe it's part of me that wants to understand what's happening and I want to talk about it. Part of me is that sometimes I say things that some of my people know about, that I wanted to record it. I have a very strong, I'll put it this way, politely and calmly tonight, and that I have Phoenix. All right, Phoenix, you get the last laugh in. Oh, thank you, Phoenix. However, what I was saying is, my Phoenix, you got me distracted for a second. Guys, don't forget to go and watch that Ryan Upchurch video that I mentioned earlier. It's pinned at the top. It is 10:50 at night my time. When I get off here, I'm going to enjoy going to sleep tonight in a nice, cool summer mountain summer, cool that evening, night. If you're on the East Coast and dealing with the oppressive 90s, just let's say it's going to be in the mid to upper 60s to sleep in tonight where I am. Gotta love the mountains. This time of year in the mountains, gotta love them. Anyway, no AC. Nope. Windows wide open. And it's going to be in the mid 60s. Here, actually, I'll look it up. I don't remember exactly what it was. Where I live, it is going to be right now. It is 69 degrees, and they are saying it will go down to 61 overnight. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, as I like to say at the end of my lives, and Boss Man, I did see you. Thank you very much for coming out. But no matter how old your kids are, do you know where your kids are tonight? If they do, if you do, make sure they know that you love them. Give them a hug. Give them an extra hug. Give them an extra kiss tonight. Or call them or text them and make sure they know. Thank you, everybody, for coming out. This is, again, Conversations Living Room with RJ. I am RJ. Have a good night. I'm out.